Guys, the bullying has started already. Grown men on the internet, on Instagram, just had some mean things to say about my family and I. I'm gonna get into that, but before I talk about this instance, let me talk about the last instance, because yes, this isn't the first time. Now, this happened way before my son was born, about 5 years ago in 2019. Some internet troll on Instagram just targeted my wife, who was then my girlfriend, on her Instagram DMs and said, hey, you should never marry a black guy. You should never have a baby with a black man. You'll have ugly little Malaysian babies with ugly little Malaysian afros. We don't need those types of people in our world. Actively spreading hate. It's not even like, Sayaka, my wife, said something to him that kind of led to that. No, he just found a post that he hated and decided to actively harass the person who posted it. Those internet losers, they're not going to do anything in person. They have the shield of them being on one side of the screen and you being on the other side of the screen on some different part of the world. The first comment said, this girl just ruined her whole family lineage. And the second comment, which I replied to through my wife's account, which I regret doing, and I'll tell you why I regret doing it later on, said, another poor kid will be bullied in Japan for being black. Sad face, teardrop emoji. Now, this person clearly doesn't care about black kids getting bullied in Japan. You'll see why. I saw that comment, and I was like, wow, grown men are really talking about a child's existence and how sad that this 3-month-old baby's existence is. Grown men on the internet. There's no way that a happy person could get on the internet and just actively spread hate like that. I replied through my wife's account saying, anyone can get bullied anywhere for any reason. You probably got bullied in your home country for being a complete loser. Because that's true, There's American kids getting bullied in America by other American kids for being too fat or too short or having crooked teeth, big foreheads, whatever. The role of a parent does not change. If your child is getting bullied, you need to go up to the school, talk to whoever you need to talk to who's ever parents you need to talk to. Do what you got to do. Or even transition schools in extreme cases. That is a rule for all parents, no matter where you are in the world, no matter if you have a biracial child or if your child is the nationality of the country that you're living in. It doesn't matter. This is when he showed his truer colors and said, you're the loser for... Sorry, I can't even read. You are a loser because you married N-word. I'm not going to say it. And don't care about your future kids. So yeah, this guy did not care about kids being bullied in Japan. He was just being a troll. It didn't get to me too much because I know it didn't get to me too much because as soon as we read those comments and I made that little smart reply, we fell asleep like immediately. That did not keep us up at night. You know why? Because we got a son to raise, and I'm sure those losers don't know nothing about that. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself but to reference, Kendrick Lamar, Euphoria, whatever. But this did help me come to a resolution. I've always asked my friends up until now, what type of relationship are you going to let your child have with smartphones and social media? Because those two are kind of connected very closely. If your child has a smartphone, they have access to so many things. And one of those things that, young people tend to gravitate toward is social media. It's so interesting because when I ask my friends these questions, they always pause and think kind of hard about it. And I'm like, wow, the fact that you have to pause and think kind of hard about it shows me that you know that this stuff is kind of harmful. Straight up. Because if this was just a completely platonic thing, harmless thing that we could just give children, you'd be like, yeah, I'll just give it to my child. Yeah, I don't care how old they are. But my friends, they really have to think about it when I ask them this question. Are you going to let your child have a smartphone and social media? And if you are, at what age? The reason why I don't want my child to have social media or a smartphone until maybe like university is because I don't think he'd be able to, or she, I might have a daughter in the future, but I don't think the immature mind would be able to see such rude and hurtful comments and then just be able to sleep through the night. The stuff like that would linger in the immature mind. I know it would have done that for me. You have to let them taste a little bit of this world. So I'm thinking maybe around like high school, and I'm thinking of putting some, conditions on it like, hey, here's a list of 50 books that I have created. If you show me that you've read all 50 of these books, And I'm not going to make it easy for you to prove to me that you read these books. But if you show me that you have, then I'll get you that phone. But it's my money. I'm not buying it unless I feel like it. But you really have to think about the relationship that these kids have with the social media and the internet. I don't like how much life social media can possibly consume for a child, you know. I like seeing kids play outside, you know. That's what I want my son to do. And a lot of that is going to fall on my wife and I. You know, if my son sees my wife and I always on our phones, he's going to want to do the same thing. So that's the reason why I kind of stopped, or I plan on fully stopping reading ebooks, because, you know, it just looks like I'm on my phone all day, and like getting physical books. And my wife said that she's going to try to look at her phone a little bit less in front of our son, because children copy the behavior of their parents for the most part, especially when they're extremely young. You really got to think about the relationship that kids have with social media. I think most kids nowadays should log off and go outside. Have a picnic with your friends. You know, do something that doesn't involve a screen being in front of you. You know, just talk to the people around you. Greet your neighbors. Ask them how they're doing. You know, the other day I saw some kids playing like baseball at the park the other day. There wasn't even a baseball field at the park. They just had some makeshift bases. And, you know, there was the umpire kid and the hitter kid and the pitcher. You know, it looked like a scene out of an old movie. But yeah, guys, it's sad that there's grown men on the internet that do this. I shouldn't have replied to any of those comments, because that's not something that I would have wanted my son to do. You know, what is having an internet argument gonna do in the end? Like, nothing happens after those arguments for the most part. It's just a huge waste of time. So yeah, guys, think about that. Anyways, like, subscribe, and share. Peace.